Hello everybody, welcome back to our final daily Halachah Spotlight on the 3 weeks, brought to you by OTN. Yesterday was Tisha B'Av, Shabbos Nachem was approaching. We put the Avelos behind us, just like Rahman al-Islan, when someone's sitting Shiva, on the last day of Shiva, they get up, they walk around the block. That shows that we keep moving forward. You put the Avelos behind you and you get up, you build, you gotta keep going. That's our tachlis in life. Don't get stuck in the muck, gotta keep moving forward. However, Chazal made certain halachas, certain takanas, to help keep the Churban HaBayis a little bit on our minds. And one of those takanas is that when you build a new house, you have to leave an amma by an amma unfinished. How big is that? So according to Ramaish in the Tshuva, it's anywhere between 21.25 and 21.5 inches. It's a square, so it's going to be like 21.25 by 21.25. It could be a little bit bigger, but certainly for this halacha, we can go for the more lenient shear, and that's how much you'd have to leave. But the shaila is, what kind of houses require this amal amma? Many people think anytime you buy a house, you got to leave the amal amma. But Reb David and Ramaish said the same. That's not true. Only when a yid builds a house. That's the takana. When a yid builds a house, you have to leave an amal amma. If I go ahead and buy a house from a guy's family was living there, and I buy that house, I don't have to leave an amal amma, even if I repaint it. The only exception is, if I buy a house from a guy and then I add an extension, I add additional square feet to the house, then I have to leave an amal amma. But let's say I redid the basement, I finished the basement was unfinished and I finished it up, or I redid, even if you gutted the whole house and redid it, since you didn't add any square feet to the actual house, you do not need to leave an amma al amma. On the other hand, when a yid builds the house from scratch, that's when he does have to leave an amma al amma. And if he repaints it, that amma al amma must stay, because this house becomes a house that you have to leave an amma al amma. One more interesting question: what happens if there was a Yiddish developer who built a house and he had no intention of living there? He had intention of selling it. So a Yiddish developer builds it and another Yid buys it. Does this house require an amma al amma? So Ramaish in the Tshuva writes that it does not, because the Yid who built it didn't intend to live there, and therefore he wasn't mechoyed to leave the amma al amma. And in the middle of the buyer, he's buying a finished house, he doesn't have to leave an amma al amma either. However, Reb David wasn't so sure, so in such a case, you have an interesting shaila whether to leave an amal amma. But a typical case, it's a Gaish developer, where you're buying a house from a Gaish family, you don't need an amal amma, and if you're building a house from scratch, meaning the Yid owns the property and he's paying for the construction, he's building it, then you do need an amal amma. Hope everyone should have an achama, and l'shana haba, Yerushalayim ha-beruya. Have a wonderful Shabbos.